during post-production, or technically like after the video is all correctly done. And I thought that would be very interesting to have this, even though I didn't technically need to, but I thought that it would be very helpful. And that is that at around the 1 minute 34 second part, or 30 seconds kind of thing, I ended up putting the timetables for the actual Pokemon kind of thing. Because I thought that it would be very helpful to actually get a hold of that information, right? So I had it so that like it would show like the locations of where you get the legendaries kind of thing, and if you wanted the actual like battles of the legendaries, like here's the time that I had for those kinds of Pokemon. I know for some of those Pokemon it was very interesting because some of them were very easy to do, or some of them were like very easy to capture, and I thought that's weird, right? Like I thought that was very strange. Like I think at one point I threw like one Pokeball or something like that and I caught something. And I was just like, what the? Or like it took like 2 or 3 Pokeballs or something like that, and I was like, what? That doesn't make any sense. The thing that I got so pissed of, and I think, or the thing that I got so angry of, and I think there was an explanation that I read somewhere, and I can't remember where I read it from. And I'm angry that I can't actually find out where that information actually is anymore. But the actual like thing is that like when I caught Shaman, I was pissed because the way that I interpreted how Shaman was that Shaman was a Pokemon that was very high, has like a very low catch rate. As a very low catch rate, it's very difficult to capture. I'm wasting my time just trying to throw Pokeballs at it, pretty much. So what I did is that I ended up going and just kind of, I don't want to say ignoring it, but I was like, okay, I'm going to do my normal strategy. I'm going to go and paralyze it first turn. I think it triggered the paralysis, I think. And then what I did after the fact is that I ended up full swiping it all the way down to 1 HP. And I was like, okay, this is perfect. It's now 1 HP. It is also... Wait, it's 1 HP. It's paralyzed. It's really good capture rate. Throw my Pokeball because I have the Pokeball challenge. And so I threw my Pokeball, and this is the first Pokeball, and I caught it. And the thing is that, like, the way that I wanted that session to go, it was supposed to be a 4-video session because there was a little portion of the game where I never did. So I wanted to go do that while I was catching Shaman. So I thought that the Shaman would take off, like, you know, it would bite off, like, let's say 10, 20 minutes of me just going, stay in the Pokeball, stay in the Pokeball, stay in the Pokeball. First Pokeball, I caught it. And I was like, are you kidding me? Like, you're kidding me at that moment. I should probably figure out what this Brilliant Diamond one is. It's 245 in the duration. Just gonna go talk to you. It'll give me an excuse to actually just talk to things. Okay. Maybe I need to go type in Pokemon. Oops. I can actually type Pokemon Brilliant Diamond complete. There we go. Maybe I could find out what it is if I just type in complete. It's about 245. That's weird. I'm not seeing it here. And that doesn't say that I never uploaded it. It just says like I'm not searching for the right criteria. which is interesting. Maybe I put in legendary, maybe? Huh. Maybe I need to type in legend? No, because then it's going to show off all... Yeah, I figured. Okay, there we go. All legendaries, 245. It's its own video. Okay, so it's not even a part of the completes. Or it is technically a part of the completes, I mean. But it is it doesn't have a part number. But yeah, but pretty much... It's definitely very helpful. I definitely relate. But yeah, but this is the, like, that video is the only one that I added, like, something at the end because I thought that it would be very helpful. So I ended up adding it. Yeah, because I don't think I ever added anything post things. I think the only thing that you can technically say that I did it after post was the history of the Dark King, because after I was done recording, I found out that some portions weren't recorded for some odd reasons. Like, I couldn't quite figure out why it didn't record certain parts, so I just said, you know what, I'm going to go back into the video, and I'm going to go record those separate parts. So that's why that if you do look at the History of the Dark King video, you'll notice that there are a few points in which that the background changes. That is the reason why. It is because I had to redo that entire video. And because I had to redo the entire video, or parts of it I should say, or a section of it, I had to change what I did. And because I can't always make my character go the same way as it did before, you'll notice that change. Okay. Yeah, so like, I'm trying to think of anything else. Oh, like another series that I used to do for the channel was Diablo 3. I haven't heard anybody actually want me to go redo that or continue with what I was doing beforehand, which is that one thing that I wanted to do was go through the entire story with a different class, because I only used one class, and the only classes that I've actually beaten the entire game with was the Crusader and the Necromancer. I beat the game with the Necromancer first, even though I technically played the game first with the Crusader, but then I found out that the DPS wasn't that strong, so then I switched to Necromancer. The Necromancer was really strong, so then I was able to beat the game, and then I was able to beat it with Crusader second because my Necromancer had a weapon that I think decreased its level requirement by like 35 or whatever it was. I think it was actually 15. So I was able to like have like a level 70 weapon as a level 55. So I was able to start like clobbering through enemies without having any problems. And then now I have a bunch of other characters that are, I want to say, ready to go through the adventure because I have the items for them. The only thing is that like I have the items ready for those kinds of journeys, but I don't really like. But do I have the commitment kind of thing to go through going through those games again and again and again? For Diablo 3, in my opinion, I got bored of playing through the story a bunch of times. I was excited for the story when it was the Necromancer going through the beginning parts of it because I already went through it, so I already knew what I was doing. But when it was the new points, I was like, ooh, this is interesting. I don't know what's happening now. So I want to explore this area. So when it got to the point where I was going through... What was it? So when I got to playing as the wizard, when I got to playing as the monk, because those were the two classes that I wanted to kind of get more experience with, because those were two that were really good that I saw. And when I saw those, I was like, when I was trying to play as those characters, I found out that the game was very slow or it was very long, to be fair, even though that these characters had level 70 equipment. Sorry, I have to use safeguard, so I'm just gonna skip it. Because these characters were had level 70 equipment that you could wear as level 1, they were going much, much faster, and I didn't need to upgrade equipment, which means that I could either just sell it or deconstruct it or whatever. I think I just deconstructed it. And I just had like a bunch of materials and a bunch of other things as well. So by the end of the day, I had a ton of materials. So when I was recording with when I was recording that Necromancer for you guys kind of thing, I already did all that shenanigans of grinding, of getting those items and doing all that. Like, I think we ended up using my end game set, I think, at the end of the day. And there is a reason for that too. Like, I literally went through the entire game and I ended up playing that. I can definitely tell you though that if I don't bring in that Crusader set, I don't want to play as Crusader. Too slow, too lagging enough that I don't want to deal with that shenanigans like a second time. Because by mid-game, I'm going to get tired. And I don't want to play the game anymore. And I don't want that. And I like to play the game. And it's the same thing with, like, the monk, though. Like, I've already... Like, I played up until, I think, Act 4 before... I think I lost the save, I think. Because I forgot to back it up on the cloud kind of thing. But... That's it. Like, I forgot to back it up on the cloud. I think that was back when I was, trying to figure out if I could, grab the saves internally. Then I found out that you couldn't. Then I found out that there was a weird glitch that can happen in Diablo 3. I think it was a glitch, or it was something like it can screw up something if you're doing something, which is that no, maybe it was just me just turning off auto doing that because it was annoying. Oh right, yeah, that's what it was. I turned off auto not auto renew, what's the wording for it? It's like auto sync it. So what happens is that when you close what happens is that when you close the game, it syncs up the save to the cloud. And I think I turned it off because I was doing something and I was experimenting with something. And I didn't want to, I can't remember what it was. I think it was just a random exploit or something like that, and I wanted to see what it was, how it worked. And so that's what I did, because I wanted to experiment with it. And it worked, but I didn't want it to corrupt my save, so I made sure that it didn't back it up. But of course that means that it also lost my monk, it lost my wizard, so now I have to redo those again. I think I still have my wizard, but I don't want to use it. I don't want to go through the game like a 4th or 5th time, though. Especially if there's nothing that's going to be going on, though. Like, I don't mind doing the videos like, I don't mind recording myself playing those so I can upload them on YouTube, because at least it's making me somewhat productive, if that makes sense. So, I think, as I said, I think it was Pokemon Gold, I'm not quite sure. I'm trying to think if I recorded anything. I think it was just Gold. Yeah, I think it was just Gold. I am still kind of sick.